On. It's Monday. We're streaming, baby, live from the News 6 newsroom. I've got a special guest. I'm not showing him to you quite yet, but you might be able to tell from the headline who it is. So over the weekend, we heard Tom Brady was retired. He's gone. He's out. He's acting all strange and melancholy. And then all of a sudden, we're hearing some conflicting reports. What's the deal? Is touchdown Tom Brady calling it quits? Is he retiring after all these years and all these Super Bowls? Well, I've got somebody who rooted for him for so many years. Now he has to cover him like an unbiased person, even though I know he's just seething with hatred because he left the Patriots. This is Ryan Welch. He's one of our sports folks, all-around great guy. What are we hearing about Tom Brady, Ryan?
Well, Matt, looking at the headline, saying Tom Brady in the headline, I figured you had Tom Brady as a guest. I thought that was the big announcement tonight.
I don't think anybody is confused enough to think that I would have Tom Brady as a guest. But I've got you. It's even better, man.
All right. It's a contingency plan, to say the least. Brady was on his weekly podcast, the Let's Go podcast, earlier tonight with Jim Gray. And he was, of course, asked about this and the interruption to his weekend plans with the announcement that he had retired. Brady didn't really drop a lot of bombshells tonight. Basically said he's still working through the process. He's going to need more time to figure some things out. I think it's pretty obvious that he wants to kind of control the narrative here. He certainly deserves it after his brilliant career of more than 2 decades. I think he wants to just make sure that he can make this announcement, whatever it is. It certainly looks like it's still leaning towards retirement. He wants to make that announcement on his terms.
The strange thing was I saw pretty legit reporters saying, I think Adam Schefter retweeted it. Usually whatever he says is pretty on the money, and some other folks who are well respected. They were saying several sources told them Tom Brady was retiring. Who knows if Tom Brady even knows if he's retiring at this point? It's January 31st. The guy lost a game. He appeared to be playing at the top of his game this year. He played pretty fantastic, even though the Bucs, offensive line was suspect near the end of the year. I mean, do you think that this decision's probably still up in the air at this point? He doesn't even know what kind of team he's having coming back. These weigh into the equation, right?
Yeah, I definitely think there is reason to believe that he would want to delay things and think things through, see what the roster looks like, see what the landscape looks like in general. If you take a larger look at the NFL as a whole right now, a lot of the upper echelon quarterbacks are now in the AFC. And he's, of course, in the NFC, and so, that carrot might be dangling for him to want to give it one more shot, play to the age of 45, which he has talked about in the past. He's 44 now. He could finish up his contract, play one more year and get to 45. So I think that is certainly dangling out there. But the fact that no one has really shot down the initial reporting that he will retire, I think that tends to speak volumes. Nobody has come out necessarily and said, it's a big lie. He's definitely coming back next year. Because as we know, anyone who has followed Brady knows, in recent years, when the season ends, whether it's with a Super Bowl victory or something else, he has immediately shot down any talk of retirement. It's been instantaneous. That obviously has not happened this year.
Yeah, that's true. I'm interested. The last few years, he's like, I'll play until I'm 45. I'll play until I'm 50. He hasn't even seemed like he was even really entertaining the idea of not coming back. But his kids are getting older. They're kind of getting to those ages when you're a dad that you're like, man, you should be around for all of it. But especially when they start getting to these ages, and who knows what's going on in his family life. Maybe he feels like a little more time at home. Nobody knows what his body is like right now either at 44 years old. So let's see.
But you brought up a good point just a few minutes ago, Matt. Statistically, this is one of the best years he's ever had at the age of 44. I think, over 5,000 yards passing, 43 touchdowns. He led the Bucs to the 2 seed in the NFC. A great comeback against the Rams. Obviously came up a little bit short. So from a playing standpoint, from a talent standpoint, there's been very little, if any, drop-off.
Yeah, he's still got it. I've got a source who's telling me that Brady will play one more year. That's Spencer Rake is my anonymous
we'll see if Spencer's
source.
Right.
I don't know where he's getting that information, but he's just thinking. Rebecca is saying live, can't wait to hear. She saw my Facebook post today in which a viewer wrote into the newspaper, the Orlando Sentinel, into their ticked off section. And he said he doesn't like the fact that a local news anchor says live in a weird way. I wonder who the hell's he talking about?
That's your calling card. Yeah.
I have one little thing, and this guy and the Sentinel actually puts it on. Thanks, guys. Love you over there. Appreciate it. No, I do like the Sentinel. Sarah Hodge is saying she thinks he should retire. If I could click the right button. Steven says, who cares? Well, thanks for weighing in. Appreciate you, Steven.
Well, I will say this, and Brady addressed this a little bit tonight, and I think, by all accounts, Brady is someone who appreciates the game, where the game is at right now, the history of the game, and I think one of the things that ticked him off was the timing of all this. Here, this news comes out the day before the conference championship games, and I don't think Brady wanted anything to do with having this story, this headline, overtake what were obviously two outstanding playoff games. And again, he addressed that tonight in his podcast. Just the timing of it certainly ticked him off. And his own company, let's not forget, TB12 put out a tweet on Saturday, basically thanking him for his brilliance and everything he did in his career. And that tweet immediately went right down. So a lot of speculation, a lot of questions, more questions than answers at this point. But to me, it still seems like the end result will be retirement.
Yeah, I get that. Just looking at his Facebook post, it was long. It was a little drooly, and I mean drooly in like a little sappy kind of way. So it does seem to be leaning that way. But it wouldn't surprise me if he's thinking right now retirement, and then in a couple of months when he's healed up and he's had some time with his family and his kids are driving him crazy, maybe he'll be like, I could go one more year. Who knows, Giselle? What do you think?
He can still do it. He can still sling it, as we know.
He can still sling that thing. Everybody's talking about this. Mark Ferreira saying, hey, aren't you Matt from the newspaper? You rock, Matt. Thank you, Mark. I appreciate that. Is my new claim to fame that I think I've been in that newspaper before for much different, better reasons.
Maybe Matt, maybe mom and dad will cut that out of the paper and put it on the fridge for you.
It might have been my dad that wrote that in. Who knows? Nobody does it better than Matt live. Oh, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Yeah, David says Schefter is not usually wrong. That is the truth. I haven't seen him be wrong on too many occasions. And Miranda saying, Brady, come on, one more year. So the answer to this question is we really have no idea. But if you're going to hold Ryan's feet to the fire and say, what is Brady going to do? You're saying retiring. The NFL, for the first time in a long time, will be Tom Brady-less.
Yeah, I mean, again, the 199th draft pick in the 2000 NFL draft, more than 2 decades, a brilliant career. Whenever it ends, 7 Super Bowls, 6 with the Patriots, 1 with the Bucs. He's got basically every legitimate passing record known to man. There's obviously nothing left for this guy to prove. He showed what he can do without Belichick by winning the Super Bowl in Tampa Bay. So what else is there to prove? Obviously, those competitive fires are still there. Those will never really be fully extinguished. But I think if I had to put a wager down right now, I would say that since the reporting hasn't really completely been shot down by anyone with substance, I think this is it.
And I think there's something to say for going out while you're playing some of your best football.
Absolutely.
Some of the other greats like Dan Marino, he was hobbling around on mechanical knees by the end of his career. Mm-hmm. And so going out in a way like this makes total sense. Don't do it until you're forced to leave the field, and and his body should work for him until he's an old man. So
absolutely.
All right, Ryan Welch, thank you so much. I'm going to let you get back to work. I know you have a sports cast to put together. If you want to watch that, you can check it out tonight at 11 o'clock. And before that, sort of the pre-show to the sports, the lead up. What is it? The opening band? That's us, the news. Check us out, and then you can check out the big guy tonight at 11 o'clock. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate your time.
All right, Matt. Thanks, man.
All right, thanks everybody for watching.